Lawyer Martin.
Yeah, no.
Lawyer Boko there. I said these days there woman and that dear ma wokura so wona.
Yes, I call also more I mean no.
Ben Trump paneto. Yo, lawyer and I'm say encomious be AC or parliament me cry dem si cool. Because you know Kamia say speaker said the president here nti. You rather fear my posho e de assembly ekopiem e wo court enu nti. Nya de a year MPs no and say ministers no His Excellency Wabodi no metna asem ne so aka. Na enu ne ebisa say in fact majority for no kire mu what the issue is and why they think say anything can call say. Wo mo kire say asem a court when it comes to LGBTQ. Any the court when it comes to Dafia Mepo and sunsuno dem. Kire mu de esi.
Me aba ma mencha bi na mencha chief for name. For the baby of the coping beer, obi a Michelle beer. Your course on Rano. Always is interesting. Anything. And they say, Honorable Dafia Mepo or the Assembly could die court. Not them they say, or per se, Supreme Court Shemukina. No declare say, what we a minister. Near you and now say ya pamo near changing work prime minister how do call ministry ho and do call different ministry no except parliament approve once yeah ever two near approve once as a president me appoint you as a minister atama da ho no and say wow what did be pay you and yes will be away fresh you wow what did be pay me I just appose refuse near move up before. Not them say, except we about parliament. Me approve. And no, and I walk out. Now where do what must say? Obi a wuni be paying. Obi a wuni be paying. That's no dear.
But lawyer, okay, my uncle will want some answer. So, dear, fear my body, yeah, walk out. Majority today must say, even that on Tiasia, Papa, because it has been the practice in Parliament, say. So, Biba, na ye no vetting we. Now you're moving from one ministry to the other. There's no need for vetting. But Dafia Mepo said the letter in which the president sent to Parliament, so where they know, and from so woman, if that is what it is, then they should come back for vetting.
And I was going to say, when in doubt, follow the law. At the moment, they're in the court.
Yes.
The court, they say, thank you for now, so much I'm not betting. Over the court. It is over the court to be a Obia Libya and the court to so. Put you guys also suspending which the speaker says yes. And I think that associate them because Obia Libya and the court to be grounds of being now see and also suspending and no betting and approval. I mean, you have not the mechanism.
Me too.
Hello.
Me too, one kappa.
Aha. Associate woman say, ordinary ones are only be done. Only in any court to cry. Now, can say, a before the letter no one far respect a mammonia day. Now, and now saying to the crown, oh, the area. Not just a honor. What's a line a cacra. It is that
but also, Asenka, or more common in album. Na Parliament apaso if that's what it was. Nanka President to me amo makwa ye jumanti ka enkrata ni nyina ka ho bi. And also senka all those say bia o my vet na wie no. Wo mo anka dafia mapo eka no ko onyi o mo nsinchen.
Say no ye issue and ma speaker. That's the same way was Supreme Court nti. The sadia Hannah, and you know, as a separate of Catholic say, thank you for waiting the and non president who will let our trouble and indeed. None of those was similar to Wayne at the thank of Wayne, yes, the pretty woman. May I to Wayne. Or can no sana, can also no bet here ever trust to move more. That is what I say wholesale. Omina. The rules are said no more must be court. Grounds benching also and also or approve. I didn't say
Mamentia said me say. Now, if somebody goes to court, now yes, sir, now you place injunction on the particular matter we are talking about, say be elections. Yeah, kwatwaba usually. Yeah, na parties be to me, and I say people involved no obi to me edi kind of court. Now court, a place injunction was to say, Montreal mami asem ni na Montwaso. Say no nkobaye na that matter is in court keke. And now be an address to court. I.e., this LGBTQ issue. At the time when the president spoke, none depending on court to them. We court to them also. Supreme Court, and Yafa injunction to Swa. Utumika say, injunction by a my dear, but make was.
Yeah, the service. And the injunction no per se. The service and a year. So when you are court, that's what you key injunction. So, also support from doing something. You now say, what you get the opposite. And you know now, what you situation you have. Yet, who say, yet no court, or who say, ye injunction. No, dodgy. Or bet dodgy, most are no good to you, everything and several. Then you not several pet. And rather say, you not several pet for any DM court. The old person will hear and you have several injunctions. Can so a copy say court betting. And I became say, if you are say a frivolous, 7 won't say and quite but you not several pet court to say so. It's in now back to service. There are several one Nazi and several.
No, several. Me too.
Also, there are several there. And yet, it was one on social media. By several, it means a wound here. It cannot know to you any. And you would man, not who's when you are not, you will obey your hard and sit and in crop for years, assassination. Coppers will be an assembly.
And it's a
service and eka.
And you'll be court LGBTQ issue, yeah. Who would they serve? The Attorney General or the President? Because he's supposed to assent to that bill.
Attorney General. But and say any dispute with the state, also serve Attorney General. Under the state proceedings.
And you could be Attorney General, why? Then it means that the President.
Several president.
Right. Okay. And to say, I'm going to say, that no day, 11 day, I can call court. Na a quack PM court to place an injunction. Na a honor president sent it to it. President were boomra and answer were mu court.
That's a good question. Kenya several president. It means officially, Wabaya aware. And now be notified, say, assembly pending or court. Now, assembly will pending or court, that's still a good and good so, not for fire. A chance one for a needy armor court. Now, a hundred rules and sentences was ben. So, what are the consequences? Ordinary citizens here. And one year, serve with contempt. But president today, you cannot serve a president with contempt proceedings. Because while he remains in office, he is protected from all legal actions. One of the who say, "Yamano privileged position in it, and you may be wha or Timamu for Bettinia. Our no one to be because or no Timamina, a friend of Kwame Adofo, or yeah, Bettina several with contempt. Now we are president, now say, dear, need or mine and the ball who buy it. Sanya mana ono ya obenya trouble wo enisa wo yakura because say ye born home by your special position the privileged position enti ye sewo sana ya na efe so we need ebe ma court. I don't know say they make out here
Matthias here mame nko this particular issue about Dafia Mepodi ya no so court. You told me say wo mu Dafia Mapo e de omko court no ebi wo ho ana wo mu convert no wo mu nka ho new names abedim ene ya speaker kire say ya serve omo nso na omo a omudi eni so no waka omo abo omo a o se enu nti asem no kura won na nto aso no then na those people in the practice of law what can they do?
My understanding is that nothing.
Wamun to me first speaker and court.
David. Because you see, yes, say anything that happens in Parliament stays in Parliament. No court has the power to interfere with what goes on in Parliament. It is a what the Parliament and that's who abuse Nanaya is being found court. Then would the Nanaya bit man say, "What you bema pa be so say Piebra bonting." That's how words now repeat and be repeat you about things. Nanaya bet there so who assume what was in Parliament aka ABCD. We are Guasini, so who's all your bema Piebra bonting may tell never repeat his language. A horror what then so a bema omra may. Because we use privilege, or abuse privilege, wouldn't say what you mean if you were Parliament. Then, what you need power, you know, the Naswa. Oh, now could program, but I'm not very pretty word. Because there is a parliamentary privilege. It will be on by your house January 7th. What happens in Parliament stays in Parliament. That's the position of the law.
Mama JB Bisaba, Missa we answer. Masem be say Tosho. And no speaker I can say which one takes precedence? LGBTQ issue that is in court with the Supreme Court. And I say Sisia speaker Dafia me pod the call speaker also say no so nyanshin da sunti. And we de di kan de Tosho mienu. Se bibisa eba Supreme Court number of days so hwe no de ka asem nana ana at any time ombenya no wombedi asem no both issues
Mama started very clearly. Supreme Court is also a master of itself. One of the boy also interpret law no to see which one is correctly enacted and which one is wrong. Onua on the calendar, but Supreme Court there are some matters here they give it the urgency it deserves. And they are likely say matters of such a hot political nature, Supreme Court will give them an earlier date to determine it. That is my position in terms of Supreme Court. Obedient me, but they will normally or my they know me I was a rate difference. And so much a rate, me and Jerry. And I'm check out. And to they live here. And to like you said, they can give certain matters urgent priority. Now, second one, which was the first question, which one take priority? I'm not sure what that question you meant.
What I'm saying is at the moment, I buy business, I beg grind it to a halt as we speak, because Parliament, recess. And they had, apart from Omuanka, Omoko Akwaya Juma ministries, no, they had other policies, and I said, rather when budget once and some Sikasembia and Komo approve any idea, Nina speaker, so Onyaho. That's why I'm asking. People think that probably the system can manipulate Supreme Court to do the latter than the first.
I'm not sure. The Supreme Court is also a master of itself. I'm not sure say to me I'm manipulating, but possible say somebody can go and ask the Supreme Court whether its interpretation or whether if there's a job urgent matter pending, Parliament can just write and go. Somebody can just go for an interpretation like that. And then the best the Supreme Court can do is just interpret. We are what we for also Parliament there, changing almost and go back to work. But what you might interpret, I can say, where there is an urgency matter of national interest, to me, I recall Parliament. Na Obibi and the Supreme Court can just tell you, this is what we think.
Right.
In terms of implementation, it will be back to Parliament to implement those laws.
I will come and ask you about the impeachment process. Minority, initiated or tutum say yen share any one share they will start an impeachment process against the president. JB.
But interesting, Council. Is it a confirmation, sir, the separation of powers here in the Juma, because now the executive needs the legislature to implement its policies, programs and policies. But what confirm my say to see Obia independent, the legislature is independent, the judiciary is independent, the executive is independent. Is it a confirmation, sir, the separation of powers in the Juma?
Well, the answer is supposed to be yes, but in the strictest sense, the answer is really not so yes. Anything. Strict separation of powers, where somebody who is a minister could not be a member of parliament. It is where in Ghana we don't have the strictest separation of powers, because you have a minister who is himself part of the executive, at the same time coming to be a member of parliament. So that makes it not the answer absolute yes. In a sense, that person is playing double game. For the executive or the president, parliament. And you can see it becomes a dual role for those who are ministers and also members of parliament. But in situations like somebody like Alan Chermakin, Alan was not a member of parliament. He was simply just a minister. You could see that there was no constituency. Now we owe allegiance to them as against his role as a minister of state. But the others, representing a constituency at the same time as being part of the executive. Then you can say that there is not absolute separation of powers as far as those people are concerned.
So it means to say Obi to me should be as Obi the Juma Mobi. Because whereas now you are telling me say and it's not an absolute yes, but the president has
and the JBM said no because yes. We asked him about it with the letter
of course,
that was sent on from Jubilee.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So, you're going to the impeachment conversation. Yes. What's the process? Say if a minority wants to initiate impeachment against the president for disrespecting the manasa, whatever it is, they will stand on it. What will be the process?
It's not an easy process in Ghana or anywhere else. They have to now draft an article of impeachment. And so, to me, court constitution, one can say, hey, your conduct, what be Article 8, Article 1. Hey, your conduct, what be Article 2. Hey, your conduct, what be Article 100. Hey, your conduct, what be Article 101, whatever it is. So, one can say, on the basis of all this, you did not, or you have breached the oath of office in which you swore on 7 January 2020 or whatever. You breached that oath. Almost here to test members of parliament to approve it. Now, in this kind of parliament, who can ever get to test? There's no way that MPP members of parliament will go and support an NDC to remove their president. It will never happen. Conversely, there's no way NDC members of parliament will go and support MPP members of parliament to remove their parliament. To remove their president. So impeachment, as I can see it in Ghana, it will never happen.
Right.
Either in our lifetime, it will never happen.
Medasi, my friend Komono in Siha. You better have for interpretation if there need be. Era Adofo and Alten Kano. That's Papa. Lawyer Kwame Adofo and Alten and Kano.
Onua 95.1 FM. 95.1 FM.